make sure we'll get the W.
Ooh, okay. Well, on that bombshell, back over to the couch.
It's destiny.
It is.
It's destiny.
The thing is,
Like we
like, I just like to just piggyback on the end of that like interview. Like, I think that this is the kind of attitude that like we should be seeing out of Mammoth now, because they certainly don't seem to be over the top with like their confidence going into the game. But you can see a little bit of that swagger is starting to come back into it. That little bit of the like they sound like dangerous players again. And I think that at the start of the season, like that's what I wanted to see. Like I used to love interviewing King. Even though, like, at the time, like, he was, like, a little shit to interview. Like, it's just, like, you just knew that, like, the way he held himself, like, he was, like, come at me. Like, I'm currently the best AD carry. Like, don't care what people say about FBI. Don't care what people say about Raze. Like, you give me a counter pick like a Vayne, I'll win you the game. Like, he's kind of said it on the desk yesterday. And all of those players can have that danger about them. And I just like it when it comes through in their interviews.
I reckon the fix this week was Mammoth management stuff just installed mirrors in their house, and they all went, oh, we're wearing like cool baseball jerseys. All right. And then they suddenly got swagger. That's what I reckon happened.
That's what you reckon happened?
And you can't prove that it didn't. It's time for one right answer.
Oh, I like
this has been a while.
The Valentine's Day special. Because contractually, for some reason, we still have to talk about it. You know how this game works?
Man.
Corporations. You just can't win. You know how this works? We say a question. Everyone gives their opinion. There is only one right answer, and we're going to find it out. This one is all about Valentine's Day. Let's start it off. And Rusty at the desk, of course you can join in.
Hey.
Do you celebrate Valentine's Day?
I did not. I was scrimming.
But do you?
Do you?
Conceptually.
Oh, I mean, it's kind of wholesome. It's a bit of a corporate scheme.
There is one right answer, Bryce. Do you or don't you celebrate Valentine's Day?
I mean, it's kind of a fun excuse, so I can get behind it like that way. But like, I haven't for a while. But also, like, yeah, like
He really is struggling with the concept of one right answer, isn't he?
I didn't.
Yes or
No.
No.
I celebrate Valentine's Day. Yes, I love Valentine's Day.
So do I. You and I are both romantics at heart.
We are.
It doesn't show. Yeah, I know I'm a big Valentine's Day fan. I don't like the fact when people
You,
like...
wait, hold on. You have to be. Wasn't it your missus' birthday on Valentine's Day?
Yeah, but, but that's not
You
to say
just
that-
celebrate the birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah, you celebrate the birthday of the day. I got like a custom-made like gelato rose thing.
Oh, yeah.
For dessert.
Yeah.
That's how your Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
You
okay.
give a little treat.
I
a little treat.
think everyone should celebrate this day. There's
Yeah.
even, what is it, like the Singles Awareness Day or something is the contrast for people. Like there's something to celebrate on this day for anyone anyway.
Yep.
So yeah, it should just be yes.
I like that. I just don't like the fact that everything's more expensive. You just don't need to buy in that corporate crap. It's just a nice day to remind someone that you love them, because everyone's like, oh, well, you should be showing that to the person all the time. I bet 95% of you don't just come home with flowers like just on a random day because you're a nice person. The people who say that, you don't. You're just bitter that you have to spend double on them that day.
Agree?
There we go.
Wasn't Jake literally bitter on broadcast?
No, I wasn't.
yesterday?
I don't
He
think
was
I was
so
bitter.
bitter.
I don't think I was bitter.
No, I would never describe you as bitter. Roses or no roses?
Roses. You have to buy roses.
Yeah, roses. Yeah.
I'm no roses.
Oh.
Yeah, I just do something different, but yeah, no roses.
Didn't you make a gelato rose?
Yeah, but no roses.
That's pushing the...
That's no rose. That's gelato in the shape
But
of
it's,
a rose.
but it's a rose.
If I gave you that and said I bought you a rose, you would be like, oh, you bought me an ice cream. You would not be like, oh, I put it in water and it like slowly dies.
Like an all rose.
It just gets gobbled up.
It just gets
No,
eaten.
I'm a big
Yeah.
roses fan. The reason I'm a big roses fan is like whether it is a bunch of roses, whether it's a single rose,
Yep.
whether you have literally like gone past my parents' house who have lots of nice roses in the front,
And
just like
nicked it.
Oh, yeah.
yoinked a rose. Like
Yep.
I think that like roses like are very, very, I don't know, they're nice.
Yeah,
It's
they're
symbolic.
classic. It's
Yeah.
like a tuxedo.
It's timeless.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There is a time and a place for a rose.
Yep.
And a
that
big
time
bunch of
days is
roses.
Valentine's
And that's
Day.
Valentine's Day.
All right, breakfast in bed or
Oh.
go out for dinner.
I can really get behind a breakfast in bed.
Yeah.
Like
Wait.
breakfast in bed.
Are you being fed or are you doing the feeding?
Why not both, bro?
All right.
I was gonna say.
Is that a nice? Is that a nice?
You're about to say, I'm a feeder.
I was like, no, I'm not gonna joke about
Is that a nice thing if you took a breakfast in bed and then you had like half an hour to eat it and then you hop up and then you make
It
them
feels a
breakfast in
little
bed?
like contractual at that
Yeah,
point.
it does.
But
It
no,
does.
but like, I mean, Well, isn't the idea if you make someone breakfast in bed, wouldn't you you make double and then you have it with them?
Of course.
Yeah, right. So it's like
Yeah.
you make, but you also even if you make it, even if you're the one with the gesture, you still get breakfast in bed. What do you
DNO says wheat bix in bed.
No.
Stacked week fix.
Stacked wheat bix.
No, so the thing is, right, is Jenna will generally
Yep.
get out of bed early and, get Jasper up.
So you're the breakfasty.
No. So what happens, though, is then when Jasper goes down for his first nap,
Yep.
which is around 9:30, 10,
Yep.
then I get up and I go down to the coffee shop and I get banana bread and coffees. And I try and do this, once a week, once a fortnight.
That's nice.
It is a very nice breakfast in bed. Everyone, if you get to wake up to something that smells nice, that's why I'm all about the banana bread, because
Banana bread
toasted banana
smells
bread
so good.
smells so good. Like a
Top
fresh
tier.
muffin, smells so
I would
good.
fiddlesticks with that.
Yeah, and very good coffee, because obviously from Melbourne, better coffee than here. I just went and got a coffee.
all the
kinda
same
like dirt
bean.
water. Anyway, that is, to me, dinners are nice and all, but a good brekkie in bed,
Yep.
that's what real dreams are made of.
Dinners are a gift for both people.
Yeah.
Breakfast in bed is something special for someone special.
I just
Rusty?
fundamentally prefer breakfast, I think, as a meal.
What?
So in terms of, and this is where I might get weird, my favorite meals of the day go lunch, breakfast, then dinner.
Lunch
I
isn't a meal.
Love making a meal at lunch, though.
What is a lunch
Really?
meal?
No, if anybody
A
mentioned,
sandwich?
No, sandwiches. I hate lunch because you associate lunch with sandwich, and sandwiches are just D tier foods.
You need to eat better sandwiches.
Yeah, you
but
don't
know how to
make good
I
sandwiches.
hate taking the
I agree
time
with
out
you.
of my day to make lunch. Lunch becomes like a chore in the middle of the day.
You started something,
Although
and you
what I
still
will
need to
say-
finish something, and
Yeah.
there's
no
there's
good.
just a crappy sandwich sandwiched between the good parts of the
No
day.
good.
What I will say is near the Order Gaming House,
Yep.
there is a dumpling place where you can go and you can get 12 dumplings for $9.80,
Have them in bed.
and they are fresh dumplings. They
Oh,
make them,
that's good.
and then they do you want them steamed or do you want them pan fried?
Yep.
And then they give you this chili oil with it.
That's good.
That is the only good lunch in the world.
All right. So the best coffee and the best dumplings in the world are in Melbourne. Doubtful. Flowers to the workplace or flowers to the house?
Ooh.
Are you a show off?
That's really what the question is,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Is it a flex?
I don't know.
I mean,
I think. Well, I mean, nah, not workplace. Nah, home.
No.
Home.
yeah, home is better because then you get home, you're tired after the day, and all of a sudden, oh, there's flowers. What? This is the best.
There was a time where we were working at upstairs, weirdly enough.
Correct.
And there was flowers that arrived here from someone,
And we didn't know who they were.
No, they were edible.
Oh, were they?
Remember those? It was like chocolate-covered strawberries. You send them to the workplace because then everyone can share in your
Oh,
flowers.
that's
so
different.
that's
That's
even
not really
better.
flowers.
That's an
yeah.
even better,
That is-
bigger flex.
that
That's
is
edible
smart.
arrangements, dude.
Good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the biggest flex.
You
In
could send
saying
one of
that-
those singing candygram things where like four dudes in the pink and white striped suits turn up and
Nick,
just
was
serenade
was
the
that your
office.
previous job?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so.
What's your opinion on this one?
Home.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't send. I mean, admittedly, my partner works from home at the moment with the baby, but yeah, it's still from home. I don't send it to work. I don't want her. I don't want anyone that she works with to know that I'm in a relationship with her. Like we got to
Alright,
keep our
opposite
work
of
and
that.
home lives separate. You know what I mean?
Call me old-fashioned, but I think presents should be delivered by hand.
Oh come on.
So anytime you get a present, I think you should give it to the person.
Oh, I thought you meant you show up at work.
No.
And I was like, that's even worse.
I mean,
okay,
like,
at home. No,
yeah,
I get it. I
at
get
home.
it.
So,
I get
like,
it.
I think
get it.
if you buy someone a gift, some people do that thing where oh, I left you something on the coffee table, blah 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 blah. If I went to the effort to buy someone something,
Yeah.
I want to be able to give it to them.
Well, I feel like it depends on the time. As in, what if you had to come to sit? Valentine's Day is on Saturday. You're not going to go home
I'll
until
postpone it.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Do you care enough about X to oh, I left it for you because I had
Interesting.
no other option,
Interesting.
No,
or I'll just
postpone it.
it's more worth me being there.
Yeah, worth me being
Whenever
there.
I'm getting back, you're
Absolutely.
just such a present, mate. It's always worth having you around.
Joker ZAU says WTF is going on. We're just stalling for time because they need to clean the blood off the Direwolves studio before the next game.
This
Valentine's
also-
Day gifts for friends and family. Yes or no?
What? No.
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 What?
No.
No.
No. No. It's a hard no from. It's
This
a
is
hard no from everyone.
Absolutely no.
Just
I was
making
also
sure.
You're
Zach.
such a fence sitter for the rest of it. This one you were really down the line.
Zach was just before. He's something for everyone to celebrate, Singles Awareness Day. I'm like, no, not really.
Yep.
but like this is also like Valentine's presents for like friends and family. Like, no,
I
not this.
definitely don't insinuate that because you're single, you should go buy your friend a present or anything.
No,
Just,
but it's like, it's
just be aware that that's who you are and be like, I'm
yeah.
happy with it.
Yeah,
That's what
but
is.
it like
I'm
it's-
just offended that none of you brought me anything for Valentine's Day. That's what I'm trying to get to. All right, there it was. One right answer Valentine's Day. I hope you learned something. We all learned that you like to hand deliver gifts. You hate sandwiches.
this might be the least contentious
Rusty loves the
episode
lunch.
of
It really was.
of
There
one
seemed
right
to be a
answer
lot of
ever.
agreement.
You
All right.
were a real fence sitter today.
What do you mean? Was I?
Yeah,
I fence sat once.
That's fence sitting right there. Was I? I don't
no,
know.
I'm questioning. I fence
lord.
sat once.
Good lord.
Disagree.
I love you too, Airborne Ace. All right, let's move on.
All
Next
right.
game.
What are we doing?
It's AP versus Order.
Is it?
Is it? No, it's bloody
it's
Chiefs
not.
Bombers, mate. Second
Is
game
it
of the
Chiefs
day.
Bombers?
Where it's Chiefs Bombers.
It is Chiefs Bombers. Why did I say it's
Yeah.
AP?
You nearly gave me a heart attack.
I got the
I
wrong
don't
one.
even know if my team's in the studio yet.
It's Chiefs versus Bombers. It's not the other one that I just said. There they are on the teams. The teams on the screen. Totally throwing myself. This is the game of the day.
Yes.
This is the game of the day.
Most contentious one. You pick Bombers. I pick Chiefs.
Everyone else picked sheep.
Yeah,
as well.
everybody-
Don't pretend like you're
yeah.
not the sheep in this situation.
Everybody.
This
I'm
is
not the
potentially the
They're
game.
blind picks. I can't be a sheep. You don't know what other people are picking.
You knew, Bryce.
This is bollocks. But yeah, this is going to be an absolute banger. I think that last game was definitely a one-sided affair, and I feel like this one should and will be much closer.
I bumped into Quinny K.
Yeah, okay.
Upstairs, not downstairs.
Yep. Raise.
Yep. Raised. And I said raised. You know this is the exact same situation as last time you played the Bombers. They come off a loss. Rays had not had the best game. And he looked like he just wanted to grab something with his, Kiwi hands and not let them go. And I was thinking of something better than that. And then he absolutely destroyed the Bombers lineup.
Yeah.
And he said, Jake, you don't have to tell me. So I think if they do win, Rays probably gets a pentakill.
Did he say those words? Jake, you don't have to tell me.
Yes, he did.
Wow. That's not something I expect Quinn to say.
Isn't it?
No, that's... I like that. I like that a lot. That's pretty staunch.
I just like that we all got to hear the words Kiwi hands. All right. I don't even know who are we following in the POV stream. Can I trust anything? Only. There we go.
Yeah.
That's the right.
Oh,
that's
the young
right answer.
jungler.
Yeah, the young old jungler. He still makes that game to me.
Apparently he's 24.
Is he?
I don't know.
Yeah, he's not that. He's like 22.
Is he 22?
But you called him young.
He's
when
young.
we have, yeah.
22
anyway.
is young.
Young.
Back me up here.
22 is young. 22 is young.
But like in
25 is when you're old.
Thank you. You're not
Oh.
even old yet.
Yeah,
You're young.
I'm getting there.
You
How
should still
old are
be
you?
playing, mate.
24.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Ooh.
What?
I would see someone. All right, it's time to throw over to the desk with Pyro and Rusty.
Okay, it's definitely getting pretty spicy over there.
Old.
Yeah, me too. I'm
sad.
like 4 years into old at this point, so that makes me feel a lot better about myself.
Does it?
Yeah, definitely.
When you walk around, oh, never mind.
No,
it's fine.
but
Just talk about it
we
again.
have an
Let's just talk about
absolute
it.
banger of a game because, as Spawn pointed out, kind of reminiscent of the last time they matched up, which of course was a Chiefs victory, was some Rays anger Kiwi hands or whatever the hell they
Yeah,
wanted.
he used
they
his
wanted to go on
Kiwi
about.
hands and he slaughtered his opponents in the last time that they did face each other. And we'll see if those Kiwi hands can do the same thing again today. Because honestly, Chiefs yesterday just got decimated. And that should not ever happen against a team like this. To be able to be on the top of the table, they earned their spot there for sure with good performances and with consistent performances. And Mammoth, yes, they showed up and they look fantastic this week. But Chiefs have a point to prove again now. And it's just tragic for them that their point has to be proven against Bombers in one of the hardest matchups of the season.
That's very true, but if they can do it, there's a big prize waiting for them at the end of this. They'd own a head-to-head, 2-0 over Bombers that couldn't be overcome in the third round robin. They would take de facto first place because both teams would be tied at 8-2 with that head-to-head as well. So Chiefs can very easily get back on top. Well, I say very easily. They can very difficultly get back on top, but they do need to win the game. We're into picks and bans now. Lissandra, Cassiopeia, Urgot, Alistair, Morgana, all off the table.
Yeah, the Morgana ban does seem to indicate this weekend at the very least that the Thresh is being looked at, but Lucian also up and available, so Bombers have a choice to make. Do they want to give Rays the potential of a Lucian pick, or do they want to ban that one away? We'll see where they choose to go here, because they could just ban neither of them, try and trade if they value Thresh enough. Rogue's a big Thresh player, so it's always a possibility.
That's true. Taking their time. The Lucian will be banned, though, finally, at the last hurdle here. And it looks like Chiefs are going to pick up a quick Scion for big swips.
So I guess in contrast, the Morgana ban is simply a matter of respect for Rogue or a compositional thing. They don't want any CC denial there. So That's going to be taken off the board. Bombers now get their opportunity to pick into the Scion, but with the Urgot banned, Mimic doesn't have the easy choice. But we saw him play Aatrox. He may be able to play the Karma style of League of Legends as well, and Scion's one of those matchups where you just get a bunch of free gold.
That's true. Chiefs clearly didn't want to go back to that strategy after it backfired yesterday. Ooh, Balkan on another aggressive jungler. The Nocturne is locked in. I like that. We've seen a lot of good Nocturne plays in the OPL lately.
Particularly yesterday was a big Nocturne from Babib. So in this game, the one thing that we highlighted from when we last saw Nocturne is that you don't really want to go the Spell Thieves builds if he's able to get free gank pass. And you know what? We're just going to stop talking about Nocturne and we're going to talk about Ivern because that's more exciting.
Well, we got POV only, and we're going to be watching the Happy Tree Man go around. This is going to be interesting.
This has been a draft. Okay. Ivern's locked in, but Thresh was also held till the second rotation. Braum was prioritized by Bombers knowing that Morgana was banned. So we've got a Braum versus Thresh bottom lane, which is perfectly fine. Of course, they have a tank down there in the bot lane. You don't want to play mages, so they prioritize their tank. And they've got an Ivern without their carry shown. Raze, we don't know what he's going to pick. And we've just got a Kennen straight into the Scion. So it could still be the Spell Thieves Klepto. That is the original, one of the original picks for it was the Kennen. And now we've got Draven's bet. Welcome to 9.3.
Yeah, what is going on right now? I love it, though. Banned away the Draven. It's back over to Chiefs. And I have no idea how these comps are going to finalize.
I mean, 80 carry bans from Bombers makes a lot of sense. Trying to limit the effective pool, Caitlyn may want to actually go with the Draven if you think of what works with Ivern in a composition. Kate Thresh is a strong lane that has synergy. Kate Ivern, obviously with the brush and headshot passives that synchronize, is a big pick as well.
Yeah, it's fair.
That's what I would expect from Bombers, but we'll see.
Well, this draft has definitely gone a little less than what I expected. The Rise is now banned away, so they target out mid lane this time.
They certainly do. They get rid of one of the teleporting mid laners. Lissandra also removed. Syndra has been banned as well. And Claire still has the LeBlanc. Actually still has a wealth of champions. I shouldn't just specify the LeBlanc, but he may not know what he's playing against. That's the thing. Bombers are still on the red side with the counter pick. So they'll have to show their AD carry in mid lane here, Chiefs. Bombers only need to show one role. I would expect it's the AD carry.
In the last second that Ezreal gets banned. But you can see after some of these stranger picks, all of a sudden we started seeing everybody taking all the time they had allotted to them. And now we still have about 10 seconds or so before the final pickup here.
I guess in contrast, they may hold their AD carry pick to see what the lane is going to be, know what the composition of the Chiefs then really means, and pick into it. It does mean that FBI may have some answers available. The mages are always possibilities as well.
Yeah, that's true. Ashe is another champion that can definitely hit hard from downtown. That arrow will set up for a lot of engages, but they're still toying with the idea possibly going with another Archer in the bottom lane. It will be, as the final second ticks down, switch back over to the Ashe.
Yeah, you're choosing between Varus and Ashe, and you've got an Ivern in the comp, so Varus is one of those champions that can do a lot of damage if he stands still and delivers, but I feel like Ashe can offer more from slightly longer range with the W in lane. First of all, of course, you can match that, but with the arrow more than anything else from a safer distance from further away. But really, I look at this comp, and if it doesn't have like an Orianna or some big damage in the mid lane, they're going to lack damage pretty hard. And you know what? That's probably top lane into the Kennen.
Yeah, so that's a mid Scion?
So their mid lane doesn't have... you know what? We'll just find out.
Yeah, all right. All right, Rumble locked in. We'll see what Bombers pick for their final. This has been a very different draft.
Yes. Waiting for the Bombers AD carry pick, of course.
Sivir.
Less likely. Sivir going to be the pick. Spell Shield very good into the Ashe, of course.
That's very true.
Long cooldown poke is what the Ashe has got in the early laning phase, and then Spell Shield for the ultimate is obviously a big win that they have there. But with an Ashe and a Thresh throwing down spells at you constantly, and only one Spell Shield to be spoken of, that's where the Braum has to step in and be clutch for them here. The composition of the Chiefs has got some unique strengths behind it as well. Jungle fights, small little enclosed encounters if they get them. That's why I mentioned jungle is going to be very big for them. If they can get their way towards objectives first and get down the brush from only on the Ivern, then that's also a point that they could start looking to fight in as well. Where I feel like the Bombers, you would almost say front to back is a bit more of their style, but they've got a lot of really good dive and surprisingly good siege with damage they can threaten from a LeBlanc. So I would say it's a case of two difficult to execute compositions in different ways. You know, like Bomber's composition is easy to execute when they press R. That is their advantage, and that's no different for the Chiefs, but it's about how do they set up fights, where are the fights taken, and how can they execute, who do they engage on. All of these things are now very important.
Yeah, there's a lot of little things that will kind of spell the difference between a win and a loss here. And remember, these are our two de facto top teams in the OPL right now. This will pretty much decide, at least for another week, who is going to be running the top of the table. And you don't really expect either team to drop a game. That's why the Chiefs losing yesterday was such a huge thing.
Definitely was a big surprise.
Yeah, now joining us on the desk, of course, will be the Chiefs coach. It is Volt. Once again, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
I feel like
Awesome
the
stuff.
obvious place to start here, Volt, is yesterday's result. How are the boys after the game, and are we reset, ready to come in today?
I think the boys are fine. I realized in the middle of the draft that we completely messed up our prep, and I take responsibility for that, and so I don't think the players are too upset. It's more so that we reset our plan for today. We got a better draft, I think, in my opinion, and they're ready to go, I think.
Let's speak about the draft in this game as well, because there are some picks that viewers at home may not have expected by any means. The first one is that Ivern. Can you talk us through a little bit of what it's meant to achieve, as we may actually have to hold that thought for a second?
He's walking it out. Oh no, he stopped.
Oh dear.
Well, this is painful.
Might be a weird time to follow that question,
Yeah,
but let's
it's
talk about
unfortunate.
what Ivern does for those at home.
So ideally, when you play Ivan, you get through the first clear without dying, which hasn't happened. That's quite unfortunate. But you get through the first clear without dying, you get to level 4, you've cleared your camps, you get Moby Boots on first base, and you can start ganking the map and pressuring the map. You don't have to spend time clearing camps, which is nice. But the downside is that they can invade you early. You're not really a champion. They can mess with all your camps. You really don't want to fall behind early, otherwise you're a very weak champion in a 1v1, obviously.
And is only a futures market Ivern player as well.
He has been, yes. I don't know if he's done it this game specifically, but that's what we normally do, yep.
Just a little piece of extra information for those at home as well. The earlier Mobies is always nice to have. Now, the last time you played against Bombers, it felt like you went hard in the comfort route with your champions that you chose and were really doing a lot of work. Is that the case again today? Because this is very different champions to that last time.
So, despite there being a lot of different champions, I think everyone is on comfort except maybe Brandon. That is Claire, sorry. Because the only really option we had into Blind LeBlanc was the Scion Flex there. But everyone else is on their comfort champs, and I think our comp overall benefits out of it too.
Okay, looking forward to see how they perform. Now, is there added pressure going up against Bombers in light of yesterday? You said your prep felt better, but this still is the team that is right next to you in the standings.
Yeah, we're really disappointed after yesterday's result because it would have been nice to like have this game today be like, if we win, we're on top. If we lose, then they're on top. Otherwise, it's been like tied the whole season. But this game is still very important to us. If we win, we're still holding the tiebreaker, which is super important. If we get the 2-0 tiebreaker over Bombers, then it's like fantastic for playoffs outcomes.
Yeah,
so it's very
absolutely.
important.
Awesome stuff. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Volt. Best of luck to the team.
Thank you very much.
Now, we do have to talk about what happened there at level 1 as well.
Yeah, bit of an unfortunate moment where Only was standing kind of out in the open, and Bombers just sniffed him out.
It was just holding the pixel bush, and you know the good thing for Only is that the death was early enough that he was able to get onto the map in time and get most of his clear done successfully. So he's not in the worst possible position, but an Ivern without a flash is a very dangerous space for you to find yourself in, and he has to be a little bit more cautious in the way that he moves around the map. Going for the Dark Seal as well, not rushing Boots of Mobility. And for those wondering why I asked about, do you go for the Futures Market, what it allows you to do is full clear and a little bit extra, so like 6 or so camps, and you can pretty much afford Boots of Mobility immediately. You know, where most junglers will go towards their full jungle item, they have to full clear and a half to get there. You get there so much quicker. And when Ivern has Boots of Mobility, he is just everywhere, and he is the most annoying champion to deal with because Boots of Mobility on a support champion running around is like River Shen, just on steroids.
So Bombers will have to watch out for that to happen. He's actually heading up towards the top right now, but it does seem like apart from that level 1 shenanigans, it may be a little bit quieter. Now, Only does wrap around, throws up brush on brush. Mimic's going to be running for it as the Flame Spitter keeps him going. Root Caller's dodged. Nicely played there, so they walk away with nothing.
Just a bit of extra auto attacks onto him. Of course, some lane control in the top lane. They don't force the flash, however, which would have been the ultimate goal they were after.
Swiper on a very comfortable champion in the form of the Rumble.
And this bot lane should be all about pushing. You know, what you should see from the Sivir is at every moment that they possibly can, push the wave in, make sure that the Ashe is hitting minions, not you. And that's usually where you find yourself in the best situation as a duo. And Braum's meant to just support that, facilitate if Thresh ever steps up, get in the way so that he can't go for hooks, can only flay. And you've got the Guardian, presumably as well. Of course, you can see that. Yes, he does have the Guardian. Prevents Sivir from taking damage at all times. Ash's W is also a free spell shield. More often than not, it will hit you even if she's trying to push the wave. So you can safely throw that one out as well and just focus on minion control.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. Sivir really does just consistently push away. And you can see also on the Ricochet as well, just continuing to make that happen. It does kind of beg the question, where do you expect to see Balkan go early on? I mean, is this going to be about maybe ganking the Scion in the mid instead?
I mean, Balkan has the pleasure of being able to just hard farm to 6 if he so chooses. Just look for small advantages, take some jungle camps here and there. If you're going to pick a lane, you may look at mid lane if the tethers connect, and he's already here.
Yeah, Claire did kind of walk into him for a second, but only will be there for the defense. Throws on this little shield.
I wouldn't say wasted the Guardian there a little bit.
Well, hold on a sec. Claire goes back in for round 2. That is a little bit odd. He was very low on the health bar, and he gives Ryoma another kill.
Yeah, Claire just kind of overreaches, you would say, for that wave, and didn't really have the resources to do so. He's not a tanky boy right now. It is the unsealed spellbook once again that you see on this Scion, so a little bit more fragile, and is just taken apart.
Surprising to really see that happen. Now, only does move up to make sure that Ryoma and Balkan can't just free farm this away, but yeah, that was a little bit of an odd play early on for Chiefs. So net result is now we have 2 kills instead of just the 1, and it is a 1,000 gold lead. That's very slight, but
that's a meaningful kill in mid lane. Being 2-0, having the 450 bounty does put a price on your head for the opposing side, but you're still a Blanc with flash up. So you're very hard to take down, and now that you've got the Sork Shoes and you've gone for the double Dark Seal with Corrupting Potion, you can probably try and push wave and leave. You know, the best case scenario for Ryoma is that Balkan hovers with 6 and he's unlocked from the lane. Or they just continue to get gold onto this LeBlanc, hit a mid-game team fight, and just watch as he says goodbye to the carries.
That is going to be what Bombers will put in some hopes on for sure this game. Now,
they may
for
meet
Chiefs,
here.
Hold on a second.
They may actually meet at the red buff. He's taking it on spawn instead of perhaps waiting. So they don't want to fight, but Claire had first move. So there was a chance.
Good blast gun too over the wall too, so he's in and out without really a whole lot of danger to himself. Chiefs though, you know, they have this team comp. You talked about how they're going to want to try and fight in the jungle, fight in choke points, places that Bombers aren't going to be able to see them coming for maximizing their damage. When do you expect that to really start happening here as Rogue does get pulled in by Ayla?
I mean, objectives are usually the call sign for when fights that we're talking about would happen, right? So red buffs, blue buffs, dragons, and barons are always going to be the objective. And the hard part about what I mentioned is like trying to force fights in the areas that I've ascribed to the Chiefs in particular as a team. You know, like it's easier for them to do it if they're on the defensive and Bombers are running towards them, and that's possible with a Nocturne composition. So that may be what they're after. Like let Bombers come at them and catch them when they try. But that means they'll never get the objectives, right? It means that they're on defensive vision and they're relying on Bombers to go at them. So there's a bit of a trust fall of your opponent's tendencies or compositional styles to rely on there.
Yeah, that's fair. We'll see who gets the better of it overall. His mid lane still proving a little bit tough for Claire, but he has kept up in CS. That's the important thing here. Now Balkan and Mimic will jump right on top of Swiper as he immediately face-checked into that brush, tries to walk away, but an extra shuriken secures the kill for Mimic.
Yeah, Mimic just waiting for the equalizer to go down. The Band-Aid on the map doesn't stop him from getting back to the wave as well. 3-0 with the kills on the board. And the Chiefs, once again, start a game falling fairly far behind. And Ivern behind, it's already been mentioned, isn't very strong. You feel like a walking support and you'd rather be one than be Ivern. He needs to find something happen. He needs to get a bit of momentum. And Ash is the hyper carrier as well. And granted, there is a CS lead for Raze in the bottom lane. He's doing well in the 2v2. Being Ash, being a no mobility or very low mobility champion against the Nocturne, Kennen, and LeBlanc sounds like an absolute nightmare. And you need that Ivern to be pretty far ahead to give you the redemptions and the shields.
That's going to be a lot of pressure on the Chiefs jungler for sure. Ryoma in a great position himself to be the guy that can make those deletions happen. Balkan looking to do that as well. That's a second assist that he's earned himself after the level 1 play. So Swiper going to play very far back in this, as he knows that is a
yeah, he's the one at risk of dying. I mean, if he stays under this turret, it better be to place down an equalizer or farm with E. And even then, you know that Belkar can reach you from exactly where he's recalling, and sacking a wave like that feels horrendous.
Yeah.
So they bring everyone up here now. Mid laner and jungler are here for the party. If they try and dive Swiper, they'd be prepared. But you have to remember the amount of time and investment wasted by the Chiefs just moving from mid to top, moving a jungler to top side just to protect him on a wave.
I was going to say, that feels just like a panic response at this point. I don't know if Chiefs necessarily had an answer to the pressure the Bombers were putting down. And that's troubling because look what it's enabled. Some free time. We saw earlier mid lane. Now down to the bottom, FBI is going to start picking up these turret plating stacks. Bombers definitely have the Chiefs number in this early game.
Yeah, they certainly do, and mid-game team fighting is something that both teams can start to look towards. You know, having the natural, I would say the base damages of the Chiefs comp is fairly high as well. So that's one thing to consider if a Rumble Equalizer connects onto multiple targets. It's AoE as they just go bottom.
They do, forcing a flash out of Raze. Ayla just walks away from it. There's the Paranoia on for the Nocturne, but it doesn't get spent.
The early use of the Paranoia makes it very clear what Rogue's intentions were. So an immediate respect flash from Raze is the correct call. The Lantern may have been there from Ayla, but if you choose to wait, you choose to potentially die, and Raze doesn't take those risks. He is a consistent player, and that is a consistently correct call to make a flash like that.
Certainly doesn't hurt. Now Rogue and
Here's the
Balkan might be in
objective.
trouble here as this is the reaction play. Balkan flashing away. Ash Arrow coming through, and he's going to get chopped down, only claiming the kill. Gold in his pocket, but now Claire's going to have to take the Lantern out, or rather maybe the team can rejoin him, and they should be able to secure this Dragon. This is a great play for Chiefs.
A big heads-up play from them, knowing exactly where they should be. Balkan's on bot side. He used his ultimate for the play, so they run down. And starting the Dragon by himself, once again, is a big risk. And he had the stopwatch, he had the flash, but nowhere safe to go because he's on the red side of the rift. And he was inside the Dragon pit.
Yeah, that feels bad. You burn flash, still go down. Only gets a little bit of revenge for the level 1.
And that does do wonders for the Chiefs as a composition. You know, only does pick up the kill, and normally you'd say, well, I haven't got it. That's not a good thing. But 350 gold closer to the redemption. Still doing well in the bottom lane is Raze, and that's 350 gold closer to supporting him while he does damage.
After that, looks like Swiper is waiting in the wings here. They're going to try and bait this out and overcommit perhaps from Ryoma, but as you pointed out, a LeBlanc with flash is very hard to gank, so Swiper's just going to show face. Instead, the lane swap comes in, Raze and Ayla go up towards the top side.
Rift Herald now the big next objective to start looking towards as well. That's the place both teams should be putting a lot of their focus. You can see the lane swap already enacted by the Chiefs and immediately responded to by Bombers. So they've swapped sides of the map. They want their strong side Chiefs to be near the objective, and that's why they've swapped in the first place.
Teleport coming through mid as well, so we might see another fight over Rift Herald. No, it's Chiefs
Waiting on
backing
cooldowns.
away.
Nocturne ultimate is the one cooldown that they definitely need. Ash Arrow is still on cooldown as well for the Chiefs, so respectively waiting.
Oh, here's a little death brush. Let's see how far FBI and Rogue go.
Far
Ash Arrow,
enough.
and did not see that coming, so didn't get the spell shield. However, he did flash away from it, and the Chiefs, they have extra damage. Daisy on top, trying to find the target. It's Rogue, who's going to be able to walk away from it, but that might just be the impetus here for Chiefs to start that rift, Harold.
That's 2 summoner spells from FBI burned. Rogue does take a lot of the damage, but his stopwatch was used as well. So 3 big cooldowns gone, and that's a lot of control around this area. But if they choose to fight without Thresh ult or Sums, without Ash flash or ultimate, and without Ivern's redemption flash or ult as well, like that's more summoners used than their opponents, and a Nocturne to just come on in and snipe them.
Yeah, so Chiefs showing restraint. Decide instead to just reset. They can bully out FBI for a little bit in a 2v1 until the Braum arrives once again. And now they can also free push a little bit in mid since Claire makes his move back towards that.
They just did that on Vision as well, though. That blue buff started with a control ward in the bush. It's a great ward placed by the Chiefs, and they get the first move towards the Rift Herald. It looks like they're just clearing wards around the area, but Bombers have to respect that. Claire's missing off the map. You'll see LeBlanc and Nocturne probably move up through mid lane to the river. They'll see it's not being done, but will they get to top lane in time?
A little bit more slow, a little bit more deliberate. Now the Scion comes out of nowhere. They get the hook on, looking for FBI. Spell shield. They don't even need to worry about CCing him because he had nowhere to go, and neither did Raze as Ryoma tagged his way in. And we've got an all-out brawl here, but it's Bombers that are looking stronger. Bombers had the numbers, and Bombers get the 2 for 1.
And it is a
Make that
triple
3.
kill for Ioma, so 3 kills. Now 5-0 is the LeBlanc, and I asked the question just before the fight. Will they get there on time? The answer is definitively yes. Not to save FBI, but to win the fight. and that's what matters most. It's just a Sivir that goes down. Now they get the 3 kills, they get the Rift Herald, and they get an opportunity to explode onto the map with already a 3,000 gold lead.
And a lot of that in the pocket of the LeBlanc. That is massive right now for Bombers, and Ryoma in the mid lane is showing the Chiefs who's boss.
Certainly is. He'll have a lot of money to spend right now as well. That's Ludens and a half, probably Ludens and a...
And keep your eye on his item buys. Yep, instantly
rod.
gets the Ludens.
Oh.
Here's that fight again.
We're going to see the 5-cost Claire up on the top side of the map, uses the ultimate after hitting the Q from Foggerwalk. FBI dies. And from this point, they can't run up, they cannot run down, but they don't know what direction to run because the darkness is in their face, so they are just left to die. Ivern on the opposite side of the map, so is Rumble, but Rumble had the teleport. However, can't teleport compliments of darkness, so Bombers able to clean up.
Yeah, that's one of those useful tools of denying the vision as well, and great play. It's the second time in the week the Chiefs have kind of been foiled a little bit by a Nocturne.
It was a fiendish codex for Ryoma as well.
Ooh, yeah, he picks up a little extra. He sold the one Dark Seal, kept on to the other one just for item.
Maybe a Banshee's Veil that he's considering as well for the Ash Arrow.
Might just be. I mean, that at that point, you know, he's so far ahead that he doesn't have to worry about too much. Now, Ryoma does get stunned by only, but, you know, he says, wait a minute. I can do a lot more damage to you than you can to me.
Let's go one step further. You put yourself into Ash's shoes.
Yep, like that.
Okay, you're terrified. Step 1. Step 2, who do you ult? Right? You've got a Nocturne, who's got a Spell Shield, a Sivir with a Spell Shield, and a Banshee's most likely there for a LeBlanc. You can throw it at Kennen, but he's probably not going to be on the right side of the map. Maybe you get it on him when he's flanking. And Rogue, on a Braum, is your last option. He's got Merc Treads.
Yep.
So it'd want to be a long-range arrow.
This is just got to be so frustrating for Chiefs, especially with their CC. You could see that hook was spell shielded by FBI there, and you know it's a very slippery team now with all of their shields.
That's the thing. So Ash Arrow is no longer important. What is important is having the Bombers come to them and being able to kill someone really quickly. You want to catch LeBlanc with a Ivern Q, potentially I'd say is the best option. You've also got Thresh Hooks.
What is Daisy doing over there?
And LeBlanc goes in straight lines with her distortion. So those two champions can lock her down. You can try and kill her as fast as possible.
Yeah, the problem is there's too many threats at the moment, and Ryoma is kind of priority target number 1. But he's very, very hard to catch, even without that Banshee's completed just yet. Going to be able to get a little extra gold by pushing this tower down bottom. That will be number 2 for Bombers. And there just isn't a fast enough response. You can see Swiper waiting, but he doesn't want to tangle with the LeBlanc at one-on-one.
Just really good, clean movements from Bombers so far. They've not outscaled by any means, but they have started to snowball in this game. And getting items further and further for Raze is the goal for the Chiefs. Support him to continue farming.
He completes the Medjai's. Ryoma's feeling himself right now.
Yes, he does. Yeah, last time we saw Medjai's completed in OPL, the game really extended to about 50 minutes.
Yeah, but the Medjai's didn't lose that many stacks.
It never got stacks.
Never got any more anyways.
I mean, it was yesterday's game. It was
yeah,
AV.
it was like, what was it, like 7, I think?
He stayed at 5 for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, which is actually pretty crazy when you think about it.
Here's my gripe, right? I'm not going to say that anyone who builds Medjai's is objectively wrong. I just think they are subjectively wrong. Because in my opinion, you are very close to a needlessly large rod. And I would rather have the consistent damage, you know? Not the potential of more damage. That's like the least LPL thing I've ever said. So I'm going to stop at that.
I think it's fair enough. You are not objectively wrong.
That's why I said subjective. So there you go.
Rift Herald popped up top. Balkan and Crew going to start pushing this one. This is the last outer available. Chiefs, let's see how they respond. A lot of pings as they sit in the jungle here. See, they do kind of group up quite a bit in and around this jungle, but nobody from Bombers is coming there.
Wait!
Shelly!
Oh my lord.
That was just a weird visual bug. It
Just
still is
attacking
bizarre.
I had that when they ended the game once. I watched Geraldine. Watched her dance and walk around. You know, the visual bug you saw just then. Imagine that with a dancing Herald when the Nexus dies.
Yeah,
that
bizarre.
was what she did. It was weird.
Sometimes spaghetti code makes for some wonderful moments.
It does. Back to the Medjai's point, I just realized.
Yeah,
Think
8
about
stacks.
8 stacks is a good amount, but also with an 850 bounty, you have to remember the amount of gold that you lose as well as they gain then. You know?
Yeah,
That's
it's
the
a
other
very
thing.
much polarizing item, right?
Yeah.
Not just in sense of who thinks it's good and who thinks it's bad, but that it is very much all or nothing. It is the needlessly large or needlessly small
If
book.
the gold difference is 5,000 right now, they get 850 as a bounty for killing you and you lose, say, 200 worth of gold efficiency or something on the item, then it's actually a lot closer than the gold indicates with a single kill.
Puts a big target on the back of Ryoma, but again, they've not even been able to burn his flash this game.
That's true. Hasn't been threatened at all, really.
No, I mean, and it's kind of all just been looking up for Ryoma ever since the level 1.
But that's the red side advantage, right, Pyro? The advantage of being able to hold your mid lane pick to see where they're going to go. The Chiefs choose to pick Rumble for top lane as that was, I heard a flash. Rogue flashed. Claire's teleported.
What is happening right now? Chiefs are just really trying to force a play.
Baron's up very soon as well, right now.
Balkan's just waiting in the wings here.
They wouldn't do it.
Now look at this. Swiper's actually getting chased by Ryoma through the jungle back to his own base.
That's very rough for Swiper. Bot lane is a potential focus. He's actually walking to mid lane. He's hitting the closest target, Ryoma. We're just watching the minimap right now. He's sorted away. It got cancelled by
Hold
a
up a
play.
sec. Yeah, that was a lot of damage on Ryoma. They actually forced his Mimic out. And there's the flash burned. So finally, Chiefs set up a good bait, but they aren't able to fully close it.
I'm pretty confident that was a Thresh play that actually cancelled his distortion as well. Thresh very good at doing that. Naylor very good at Thresh, so they do get the flash out of him.
Adds up.
It does. That is one step closer to the influx of money that we were discussing.
However, Bomber's still consistently pushing the envelope here. They're going to have Mimic up towards the top side, finishing off the job that Geraldine could not. Oh, I think that's a much better nickname for the Rift Herald.
I'm pretty sure that's her full name.
Yeah?
I remember hearing that once, and that's why it's
Well,
stuck
Shelly
with
is short for Michelle, if I remember my
not
lexicon.
this one.
And then if you're in Europe, it's Harriet.
What?
Yeah, as in Harriet the Herald.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I mean, according to Medic at least.
How did you go so wrong?
You know, I don't know. That's it's a differentiating thing. Regional variations, you know.
I forget what Oceania named her. We gave her a name.
Geraldine.
No, I think the problem is we weren't actually sure on...
Uh-oh. Whoa. All right. Goodbye, Big Swips. Oh, wait. He walks it out.
He's okay. Still very low health, though. And that does mean that he loses all lane control. That is the second time that it's happened now. The last time was in bot side jungle when he was chased back to his base. Little Rumble scurried on home. And if that's going to continue to happen, Ryoma planting himself in a side lane. 1-3-1 is the name of the game here for Bombers. And you think about it, a Nocturne who can pivot between two lanes with the press of an R button, just securing neutral objectives like the Dragon right now. You've got a Kennen who can threaten to kill anyone if he finds the right target. Rumble is one of those targets. He's also got the teleport for flank, so they put him on the furthest away point from Baron. And then LeBlanc assassinating whoever steps up in her respective side lane as well. It's really dangerous for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And they can't really afford to make a crazy play in mid. They don't have the best engage tools. One of them right now is a Scion that you hear a very loud thump and you just kind of eject the area.
Yeah, and this is the Bombers' playstyle neutralizing what Chiefs will want to do anyways by virtue of playing that 1-3-1. They were not going to group up into these choke points that Chiefs would have wanted to fight in anyways. Even if they were on even keel or had a numbers advantage, it wouldn't matter.
And I would always say that 1-3-1s are one of the hardest styles of League of Legends lane assignments to execute on successfully. It's easy to plant yourself in a 1-3-1. It's very hard to not die in one of those lanes, right? Like, the best case scenario is that no one dies, and wherever the opposing team goes, you trade on the other side of the map, like get a turret, get a kill, get whatever it may be. More often than not, you would find that people still die, you know, because it's so hard to place wards, so hard to get vision, so hard to gain knowledge of where your opponents are, because you're so far spread across the map. The Chiefs need to be able to use that to their advantage. They got an Ashe and a Thresh.
And they're going to start by finding the damage onto the Braum, but instantly the Chiefs are going to maybe regret that decision. Balkan into the backline, immediately Mimic going to follow through, and they will delete Raze off the map, and the rest of the Chiefs are sitting ducks here, and Daisy just doesn't know which direction to go because there are hardly any more Chiefs members remaining. Claire is still tanking all this through. He's a beefy boy, but Bombers have the damage,
Oh, he's
and
alive.
Ryoma says, wait a second, I want to finish that job. Can't quite get it done. That's only 2 kills, but that is enough to start the Baron.
They miscalculate. Claire's able to walk it out, gets a shield, then gets another one from only Swiper. Another shield. Again, Ivern's coming in clutch, but all it's doing is saving his team, buying time. It's not getting anything. They're not winning from this at all. Bombers get the Baron, they extend it further. And I'm excited to see the replay as well, if only wants to not die so we can watch it instead.
Well, he's going down, so Bombers get a little bit of extra on top of it. And now we are firmly in a Bombers control game right now. They're looking very hot.
Because I am noticing a trend right now, and that is that when against Nocturne, the Chiefs struggle to team fight. It throws them into complete disarray, and you will see it in the fight that just went by as well. You will see Raze going in one direction, his team going in the other, and, you know, Raze, the silent assassin perhaps of the Chiefs, not communicating his position, or the Chiefs just assuming things because they don't have that knowledge again. It's really throwing them for a loop, and they're struggling to deal with it.
Yeah, the Darkness is certainly proving quite a difficult thing to go up against here. So Bombers just taking advantage of the fact that Chiefs looking desperate for a fight. They turn that on immediately. Balkan has just been absolutely instrumental in this game. Not to mention the rest of the team, Ryoma. 6-0 now, 14 stacks on his Medjais. Here's that fight.
Now, watch the Ashe positioning after the arrow is thrown and Nocturne comes, and then watch what the Ivern does, right? He can't see anything. So he comes in, summons the Herald where he thinks Ashe is, and Ashe is on like the opposite side of the map behind him where the teleport flanks are. So they had no idea where he went, and they had no idea how to support him through that, simply because Nocturne presses R, and it is just so hard to get around on the Rift and work out where things are.
Communication breakdown, and that's the troubling sign right there.
That's the thing. Is it troubling, and is it a breakdown, or is it just Nocturne forcing these errors? Like, if you don't flash from that Nocturne, you're probably going to die. You don't see the teleport coming again because the Nocturne removes that ability. So, like, I don't think Raze was wrong in where he flashed, right? I just think that, like, it throws so much disarray into the Chiefs comp that they're being ruined by it, but they want the engage.
They still want to try and force the fight. Here comes the Darkness out once again. Claire does zoom back.
Oh, they're back in.
Claire gets pulled back once again. There's the Equalizer thrown down into the back line. They go, and that's going to be a Guardian Angel popped. Let's see if Chiefs can hang in the tank. I don't think so anymore. That's a double kill coming through for FBI. Only Raze, Ayla, Swiper all drop down, and Claire, the last zombie standing. Those are some low health bars, but not low enough. Claire just keeps on running for it, but they're going to be able to wipe them off the map, get that ace, and start looking for the base.
And it looks like it could be game actually here as well. 20 seconds, but do they have a minion wave? You can see Balkan goes and collects the minions, starts to push them in, but they're going to go towards bottom instead. They may just take 2 inhibs and call it a fight. I think that's where they'll go here, Bombers. Big victory for them, however, and another massive piece of snowballing for their team. They are so far ahead.
Yeah, and this is a very fast game as well. Big trouble for the Chiefs as they consistently are just getting wiped off the map. I mean, you can't fault them for trying to fight, trying to save their base, but it just keeps going so sideways. And here it is again.
You're right, you can't fault them. They choose to take a fight. They know at this point in the game, once the Baron was secured, that they're desperate. So they look for this fight, they look for this opportunity. Claire's got his fancy footwork on, but Ivan hits a Q and Claire's like, whoopsie daisies. Goes back forwards, and he's trying to zone away FBI and Rogue. But the turret's hitting the Braum, and and Ryoma has killed Ayla, and that was your replay. Brought to you by me.
That was great, Rusty. Ryoma's just 9-4. I mean, he's full stacks on his Medjais. They get another free dragon.
Yeah, his Medjai's worth bank now.
Yeah. So this is and by the way, I think he heard you. He also has the needlessly large rod. See, he can do it both.
He can when you've got 9 kills and 25 stacks in
And
Medjai.
0.
You know
deaths.
what I meant.
Yeah, I know what you meant. But yeah, I mean, like, Ryoma has the kind of score that Raze had last time these two teams met. This has definitely gone in a very different direction.
And you know, Spawn said it. If Chiefs were to win this game, it would be a pentakill from Raze, and guess what? They built a composition to give him one. But he has the Ashe, and he's having a very hard time dealing with his opponent's composition. He's not looking for a pentakill in this game. He's looking to hold on for his life.
I'm sure he'd be happy with a
It would still
but that would be
require
one
a
hell of
pentakill
miracle.
to save the game, Pyro. I will say that much. The dire straits.
And here comes the Scion into the front line. Darkness immediately popped once again. Ryoma into the back line, searching for the Ivern. They take him out. It's Balkan on the second win. He might be shut down here by Swiper, but that is just a consolation prize. Maybe they can get something more here because Raze is actually still alive in this one. That's 1. That's 2. Can they actually turn the fight with their backs against the Nexus? Ryoma and Rogue will back out. Ryoma, second win going in for Claire, does not find the kill.
They hold the game. Chiefs will buy more time. They are still 12,000 gold now down. 3 dragons to 1, and at 28 minutes, they still have what it takes. 3 items now done for Raze. The only thing that they'll be upset about is that they didn't get the shutdown on Ryoma, because that is the game-winning potential shutdown. You know, the comebackable game then. We'll see this fight. This is the Bombers. I'm going to say definitively forcing far too hard without having vision of their opponents in response to what the Chiefs do. They're desperate. The Chiefs go. Just take the ultimate. Look at the super minions on your minimap winning the game for you. But they choose to go for the fight. They take the risk, and that risk is punished. Raze and Ayla, very good team fighting duo, and they're able to pick their battle.
And it's about that time that Ryoma and Rogue realize they can't keep forcing that fight. And finally, Raze gets on the board, but it costs a whole heck of a lot to make it happen. There's still 2 downed inhibitors. Another Baron is in 20 seconds. And you better believe
That's
Bombers should
alpha.
be going straight for that.
That is alpha from Ash. Has a null magic mantle, has enough money for a Zeal outright, so has about 1,200 gold, and says, you know what? What is a QSS even for?
Yeah, you're getting popped faster than anything else anyway.
I don't have summoner spells. I can't flash away from the cannon. If he's on me, why would I cleanse the stun? I am going to crit him instead.
You gotta love Raze.
I respect it.
Yeah.
The perfect player will have to have perfect positioning though, and that's a perfect spell
This is a
shield.
full-on death ball. They're just hunting for whatever they can find, but once again, the collapse comes through. It's Balkan looking on the back line. Do they have the damage? He gets stunned up,
No,
taken
they
out by
don't.
Raze, and all of a sudden, Mimic
Mimic's
comes to
in.
the party. He does get a massive stun, and that turns it right around. The quadra kill for the Kennen, and he zooms his way out.
And that's one way to end with style. Straight towards the Nexus, the Bombers will go off a quadra kill for Mimic on the cannon. That is a flank and a half coming out of him, and they should just get the game from that.
There was a glimmer of hope there for the Chiefs right now, Rusty, but then Mimic comes in and channels his best smeb that I have seen in a long time. Well played to Bombers. They will take the Nexus and the top spot in the OPL.
And they do it with no deaths on Tommy, no deaths on Roma. 10-0-8 was the scoreline, still had 25 Magi stacks, and it was a good game in the end from them. The only hiccups you would say the Bombers had was just thinking that they could force harder than they could. And, you know, in a more serious environment, you know, in a playoffs game, they would slow that down. They would be more methodical, and that would just be a clean victory.
You bank up some good credit, though, when you get yourself out to that kind of a lead. And it's like what we talked about yesterday with some long comeback games and the likes of that order match. You can make like 4 or 5 mistakes and still be fine. It's just that 6th one that'll sink you. Luckily, Bomber stopped at 1.
I feel like it was
2
almost
maybe.
2. It was almost 2.
Is it 1.5?
And if Chiefs won that fight at the Baron area as well, I was feeling the Queenie K pentakill comeback game. That's how close it actually got to me. And it shouldn't have felt that way at all. But Mimic's too good. You know, he got the big flank, he got the big team fight. He's been doing it all game as well. So.
I like how he was the one who really saved it at the end because all eyes were kind of on the LeBlanc for so long. We were watching Ryoma to see what he was going to do next. We were watching, you know, pretty much everybody else. But then, yeah, at the end of the game, Mimic said, hey, guys, I'm still here, and you're all dead.
Absolutely. Smacks him around. No exhaust that time as well. No summoner spells for the Ashe. And, of course, no QSS as he went for the Zeal. But that's a bit of redemption there for the Bombers against the Chiefs. Puts them 1-1 in the head-to-head as well. And that's
Makes
actually
that third one really exciting.
Big setup for the 3rd game of the round robin.
Yeah, they own the head-to-head, or they could own the head-to-head going forward. They currently own the top spot. So to talk more about that Bombers win, we'll send it back over to the couch.
All right, Bryce and I just got flamed by FBI as we walked through on the way here.
As you should be. As you should be.
We lost the faith. That was a great game. That was a world-class game from Bombers.
Certainly was, because Rusty kind of hit on it, right? Like, that was genuinely Chiefs comp, like, despite the position they were in, that last team fight, if Mimic doesn't get an enormous flank, like, that was a fight where we're sitting there like, Quinn, like, is he about to do it? But, of course, he didn't. Mimic and the solo laners, respectively, from the Bombers, like, out and out, that was a good performance across the board, but specifically, Ryoma got enormous in the early game, and Mimic was just never accounted for. This is a team on Chiefs, like, Swiper has been a Kennen player in the past.
Yep.
Ayla took exhaust specifically for the Kennen. Somehow, Mimic, whether it's bot lane, whether it's the last team fight, like, he's getting enormous flanks off time after time and just wipes the floor with Chiefs.
Yeah, it's because Chiefs were in that situation that I was kind of describing about the Camille Gallagher comp, right, where they're behind, so they draw their artificial line, then they have to start the fight, because if not, super creeps are pushing it. And there is a checklist you have to go through, all right? Who are we opening up on? Who's dealing with Mimic on the flank? You know, are we going to save Ash Arrow for him, try and bop him and kill him? Or, like, is it a Thresh Hook? Is it Scion peeling? And time again, they were like, okay, we're behind. go. And then
Yeah.
Mimic would just be like 3 seconds later, like,
Hello.
hello, I'm going to kill Raze, I'm going to kill like the linchpin of your competition, I'm just going to wash over you like a tsunami. And I think like the scariest thing for me is that's like FBI and Rogue playing Sivir Braum. Like, that's not like, that's a defensive lane, fellas. Come on,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
not what we want to see. We want to see some Tristan or Alistar. So like maybe even like, that's the solo lanes. Like, I mean, Phoebe will kill me for this, but that's solo lanes carrying him to victory. Like, he was there to get Mimic in even quicker.
Well, like you can say that, but it's not even like he didn't play poorly. Like he didn't.
No, he played
didn't
well.
get like he got carried maybe in a sense that like he wasn't the star of that comp, but like he didn't need to get carried. It wasn't a lack of play from them. It was just like the solo laners took over the game.
Best thing in League of Legends is when someone on the other side of the map has a good game and you are a carryable teammate. When you're like, I'm going to facilitate this play, I think that is a sign of a good team. And once again, we just kept saying all year long that, you know, when your solo lane is a Mimic or Ioma and when your bottom lane is FBI Rogue, like something does have to give. You can't play strong side everywhere. And this just shows that they're at a stage in their team development where, you know, Mimic can play the strong side and FBI and Rogue are just happy to be that wave clear 1-3-1 centerpiece that they talked about the whole of the cast. It was great.
Absolutely. Well, we've got one of those centerpieces at the desk right now with Pyra. It's FBI.
Right, you are. Knock, knock, knock. Open up. It's the FBI. Welcome. Congratulations on your win.
Thank you.
You now kind of knock it out against the Chiefs, the only team that had beaten you so far in the OPL.
Yeah.
How does it feel to kind of get that revenge win?
It feels actually amazing. Yeah, it feels really good, especially because they had the win over us. And like just throughout the whole broadcast, just hearing all the casters say like, yeah, like Chiefs, they beat Bombers, like all this and that. Feels good to just get the win here.
Yeah, we all got egg on our face except for Spawn. He believed in you guys.
Spawn's a smart man.
Yeah, I saw some of you guys tweeting. He's the real one.
Yeah, of
So
course.
yeah, good for him. But on top of it, you guys kind of adapted a little bit in some drafts that we saw from yesterday. Mammoth had pulled out the Nocturne that seemed to give Chiefs quite a lot of pause. Did you guys pre-prepare that before seeing it, or was that sort of something that happened afterwards?
That draft that we just did was prepared like during the week for Chiefs specifically. So when we got the draft, like we're really confident that we were going to win the game. So yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, it does seem like you guys are kind of flying high, not just in results, but in the way you're playing. There was maybe one or two scary moments where it looked like Chiefs were going to be able to turn a fight. Did you ever have that doubt in your mind that might happen?
Yeah, honestly, I actually did. Like in that last team fight, when like at Baron, they engaged on us. I was like, oh shit! Like Ash just killed someone. I was like, oh, what's happening here? And then like I just saw Mimic fly in and just that's all she wrote.
Certainly was. I mean, that was a great play to end the game. So now Bombers are kind of like in this de facto top position. Is there anybody that you think will challenge you towards the end of this second round robin and into the third, or do you just think you're going to be able to wipe the floor with everyone?
No, definitely not. I think it's still really close, and best of ones don't really show like properly where the teams rank in terms of power scaling. I think we definitely are the #1 team at the moment, but Order, Chiefs, and Mammoth I think are also like pretty good. AV too, but yeah.
Okay, definitely keeping an eye on those ones. All right, take at back the desk.
He certainly did list the good teams. Rusty?
He also listed 5 out of